These are all series that I haven't started yet. If you have read any of these, or if you think I need to prioritize any of these to the top of my TBR list, please let me know in the comments below. These are all series that I'm hoping to start in 2026. After reading and loving both The Will of the Many and The Strength of the Few this year, I would love to go back and read the Licanius trilogy by James Islington. The first book is The Shadow of What Was Lost. So what I know most about this series is how well crafted it was. Apparently, there is a big puzzle to solve, and all of the pieces come together really well by the end of the third book. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what has made people trust James Islington to the level that people who are fans of this series and the hierarchy have experienced so far. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into this one in 2026. This is the Licanius trilogy by James Islington. Up next, we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I have not decided if I want to read the prequel, A Day of Fallen Night, first, or if I want to read Priory of the Orange Tree. I read a post by Samantha Shannon where she said if you don't want to be spoiled to deaths and you want the reveals and the twists to come with the biggest impact, that you should start with the prequel. But then there is the experience of reading books in publication order. If you have read these, let me know what you think would be the best reading experience in this series. I know that this series features dragons, and I believe we have a dragon rider in Priory of the Orange Tree. I don't know much else about it, so let me know your thoughts on which one I should start with. I'm hoping 2026 will be the year that I get to read John Gwynne. I would like to start with the Faithful and the Fallen series, which begins with Malice as book 1. What I gather is these books have a lot of really cool battles in them, and I'm looking forward to seeing what John Gwynne does with his characters and his world building. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into his stories, and hopefully I will start that with Malice. This is the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. Another series that I cannot wait to dive into is the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi is one of my absolute favorite books, so I would really love to go back and read this Daevabad series. The first book being The City of Brass. I believe in this series our main character is a con woman, so I am really looking forward to reading this one, and since I have all 3 books in the trilogy, this is one that I would like to read in its entirety in 2026. Then up next we have the Burning series by Evan Winters, which starts with Rage of Dragons. I of course assumed that this story would have dragons in them, but lately I've been hearing how brutal this series is and how many battles and how much action there is in this. Like, it's very tense, non-stop action, which honestly feels a little different than what my original expectations were. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this series. I have both Rage of Dragons and also Fires of Vengeance. I think these are the only 2 books out, and the third book may be possibly coming out later in 2026. So hopefully I can get caught up and read that one as well. This is the Burning series by Evan Winters. Up next is a series that I honestly can't believe I haven't read already, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have purchased these books as they were released, and I think it was one of those situations where I kept just saving them for the right time, and the right time never came. So this year, I need to make sure that I prioritize finally reading these. I feel like my TBR is heavy with battles and war books, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what R.F. Kuang did with this first series. I have read other books by her that I enjoyed, and from what I understand, this one's actually quite different from the ones that I've read. So I'm really looking forward to reading this trilogy this year. That is the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Up next, we have the Tyrant Philosophers series by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'm a big fan of Adrian Tchaikovsky, but I have only read, as far as his fantasy goes, a couple of novellas. So I would really like to jump into his longer fantasy fiction. And one of those I have on my shelf is The City of Lost Chances. This sounds like it might be a darker fantasy where the setting may feel like a character itself, and the citizens are on the brink of revolution. And I'm really looking forward to finding out how Adrian Tchaikovsky's fantasy goes. So I would like to start this series and hopefully carry on. I believe the fourth one is being published in 2026. That is the Tyrant Philosophers by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So far, my list has been pretty fantasy heavy, but I do have some science fiction as well. I would love to start reading the Sun Eater series by Christopher Ruocchio. The first book in that series is Empire of Silence. The only thing I know about this is it is epic science fiction. It is a space opera. It is very vast, and this series spans, I believe, like 7 or 8 books, and the last one came out this year. So I'm really looking forward to getting sucked into this one and reading the Sun Eater series by Christopher Ruocchio. Another series that I am particularly excited about starting this year is the one that starts with the Tainted Cup. I believe it's called the Leviathan series, and this is supposed to be a mix-up between fantasy and mystery. I did read The Raven Scholar this year, and I really enjoyed that mix of genres. And there are 2 books out in this, The Tainted Cup and A Drop of Corruption. And I believe the third book is coming out in 2026. So I would like to catch up with this so that I can read that third one as well. This is the Leviathan series by Robert Jackson Bennett. This next series I only have on my Kindle and on Audible, and that is the series that starts with The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I would love to read this series. This trilogy has been completed, and I would love to read this one before jumping into the one that starts with Grave Empire, that's kind of a spin-off in this same world. And this is another genre mashup where it is a fantasy series, but it is mixed with a legal thriller, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to checking that one out. And that is the last series on this list. Please let me know if you have read any of these, if any of these are your favorite that I need to prioritize. While you're down there, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.